Alright, here we are again. Back of the truck, out in nature. Let me make sure noise cancellation. Yeah, okay. Voice isolation is on. I am tired today because I had to work early and I'm probably not in the best sleep state for a podcast, but I really need to talk. I had some mind-blowing things where I think I'm about to post this too because there's like a little, as I realized it, I made a recording, but I know that music theory is like theory. I already covered that, but like it's crazy. Like it's all just up to interpretation. Um, okay, so that's one whole other thing. Um, a lot of that spurred from it's so weird when you actually think about it. Like it seems like too big brain to think about, but anything that's like based around humans, like society wise, or like just anything that's not in like the physical or natural sense, it's made up by people. So I don't know that's like obvious, but if you think about everything in that way, it's kind of crazy because the only reason things are the way they are, like in society or what people think or is acceptable, it's like that's all up to because of previous human interpretation. And that's a good thing because now we have a lot of things leading us forward. This also sets us in like a box though for if you get comfortable with what is already set in stone, and it's not set in stone, but if you just follow the same patterns, then it's kind of the easy way out. And I guess I always felt that I didn't want to learn. Okay, this is what I was going to talk about the other day. I think I wanted to learn how to record and structurally create music rather than like to play it. Now I'm starting to want to play it as well. And I think this is what's changed. Is because early on, I was curious about like song structure and like recording and plugging in your guitar and like using effects and the things that make up why a certain player sounds a certain way, things like that. And I think I got kind of that I think I needed to start with that first. And I'm only knowing that now. Like I'm glad things worked out the way they did. Um, I guess I'm just on another tangent, but because I paused and I was thinking for a second, but um, you can't people you can't people please your way into happiness. You have to set a line somewhere to where it's yourself. And I think that's what I'm starting to do now. Because I always thought it was like if you do things the right way, then it'll just work out for you. Like if you just follow what you're supposed to do. And well, you might check well, this is not even true either. It's like hypothetical. You might be checking off other people's boxes, but that's not going to make you happy. And I'm starting to realize like you want to do the things that make you happy. And it's not even like to be like selfish or something like that's not even the case for me either. Like I really worry about being selfish, but that's not why I'm dedicating more time to myself. It's more because if I can take care of myself, I can be there stronger for other people. Because like today, I was just exhausted from being like in a people setting and there's just like a lot of hustle and bustle and stuff. And then I kind of just went home and like worked on some programming with like ASMR on and it kind of just like helped reset my mind a little bit. And I thought that I needed to sleep really bad because I'm exhausted. But just doing that literally like brought my energy up so much more. And I was kind of just back to where I was again. And then I was like, okay. I was like, oh, I'm getting hungry because I kind of my mood started to like dip a little bit. And I was like, okay. So what's missing right now? I was like, okay. Like energy wise, I'm even again. but I probably need more food and water. So then I did that, had some leftovers, and then I was like, okay, I think I need to energy blast again, whatever you would call this thing. Like, it's nice to be able to just talk your mind. It's not even like, I mentioned that already, but like, it's just getting things out. And sometimes I think I've realized I've needed that, but I didn't know how to do that, or I didn't know that was a way to feel better. Um, and it's not even about a thing of getting other people to understand. Like, you would want that, but you don't need people to understand you to make you feel better. You just have to understand yourself and then put your best foot forward to be there for other people. That's how I've been feeling lately, is like, it's not to make them want to like you. It's that you be there to help them like you hope other people would for you. Yeah, so I think I'm noticing my goal in music has changed because maybe even it's like my taste has changed. Like, I still love the music that I did, but I've like to some extent figured out what I wanted to figure out. You know what I mean? Like, I've been able to push the boundaries that I wanted to try and push. And now I'm like, okay, that seems like that part has been checked off. Because I go to try and do it again because I don't know if it's like nostalgia or like looking back on that, doing that just like a year or two ago, it was like very fun. But then you kind of just run out of those ideas. So you need something new. And I think that's where I've been going. And I'm just now starting to realize is now I have the tools to structurally like record my songs. And the part that's in my mind, like completely missing, not completely, but like heavily missing, is understanding theory in the sense of like, this is how people hear music. It's not even that I need to follow those patterns to impress them, but it's more if I want to make something that other people can understand, I should know how they think as well. So it's like empathetic music listening. Like, you can still have your fun craziness, but if you put it in a context that they will understand, it might mean a lot more to them than if you just go crazy. And yeah, I think this hooks into me learning how to do mixing and mastering too, because I keep wanting to like mix and master songs like with different layers and like styles and things. Like, I mean, like my own music, like if I want to mix like something that has piano in it, but then bass guitar and like the part that's missing though is that there's not enough composition. So I end up like doing my goof around sessions where it's like experimenting. But then if I try and mix and master it, it's just like not mix or masterable, mixable or masterable. Because like that's not how the composition is meant to be heard. Like, I even explained that myself. Like, when I did Alcasaurus, like it was meant to be the worst album in a way. And like ha mixing and mastering that well defeats its purpose. So if I try and like, I think they call it, it's like put lipstick on a pig or something. Like, that's the kind of thing. Um, and yeah, and I just started like, I think I started by playing by ear Culture Clash, like the Aristocrats. And I realized like using my ear and just kind of practicing it, that it like kind of clicked for me. I was asking ChatGPT about why do I have trouble like learning other people's songs or like doing theory. And I was trying to explain like I get frustrated trying to like repeat something over and over and over. And it came down to that, well, I'm gonna pause, I'm gonna look it up. Okay, so this is what I put into ChatGPT. It was part of my own analysis, and I just want to see what its thoughts were. I'm finding that I am good at listening to music, picking out the parts of the arrangements, using my ear, so like for keys and things like that. Things like that. I am noticing that only this skill is what I use to play instruments, though. I lack in learning other writers' songs, as well as practicing things to get better at music. This seems to be the same for me across all of the instruments I play, including a lot of other things I do as well, which, yeah, like I'll do the things that I want to do, and then like I'll accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish, and then learning that thing seems to like lose energy. That's what I'm saying right now. So for a lot of other things I do as well, and then back to the thing. For example, I struggle with wanting to go to school for programming because I'd rather learn through making my own projects and finding out what does or doesn't work. This is the same for music too. At least it has been for a while now. I have been learning about myself with what I have the abilities to do and just create with those. I'm noticing I am not feeling happy with the things I make when I sit down to write though, which I just mentioned, and I am trying to get myself on board with the idea of being interested in learning the calisthenics for things like music or programming. So when I looked this up, I think it was like 2 days ago or so with ChatGPT, um, I hadn't quite been convinced of it. And yeah, so calisthenics for things like music or programming. So that's where we left off. Rather than using trial and error, I want myself to be able to sit down and get book smart on things too. I feel, at least I feel now, I can finally see, or maybe this is just the next transition into things, that I am lacking in my knowledge of things, and I need to reinforce that side of my learning as well. And that's the end of the thing that I put in. Me reflecting now, yeah, I've always been like afraid of learning, doing things quote unquote the right way. And now I'm not as afraid of that. Kind of like how before I was ashamed that I wanted to get a Mac because it was like, oh, you don't want to get a Mac because like everyone has a Mac, or like, oh, it's like for soy devs, or like all these like mean things or something. Like there's just like connotations with things. And I was realizing like that's the same thing with me for learning. That I have this connotation for learning in that way where I think that it's gonna like keep me in. Like it'll keep my exploration tied down. And I think that's what's worried me is like if I learn how to do things a certain way, then I'm doing it for the wrong reason. And I think that, oh, that was the other part of it. It's like, to me, learning like how to learning how to, wait, learning how to play music with theory and learning theory and everything, that was with the intent of getting popular or doing it for a job or impressing people, or it seemed very ego driven. And that didn't seem like what I wanted to do with it. But now I'm starting to see like that's just how you use it. Like it's the same knowledge. Like so now I'm looking at it more from what I can get out of it rather than what I think it connotates to me, if that makes sense. So kind of like how, like I just mentioned, it's really cool to have a Linux desktop and to have like a Windows gaming PC or like things like that. And it's like very bland to have a Mac. Like, and that's just like how people see it. I don't know if it's because it's like simple to use or, but there's like this connotation of like, here's why you shouldn't use it. And how am I thinking of this? Let me pause. Okay, yeah. And as I had now realized, like later on, as I had got my new Mac, I was like, it's just a tool. Like, if it does what you want it to do, that's exactly why you need it. It's not to be certain standards or look a certain way or, and that's what I was afraid of, is because it would be like the how people see you or what people think of you, and I just didn't want to be like assumed as one of those like people that they thought that Mac users are. It's like, oh, they don't know how to use a computer, so they just get the one that works. Like they don't know anything about it. It's like that that's not true. Um, here's a well, let me see. I don't know if this is like weird or not, but say if it was like I got these new pair of shorts and they're a bit shorter than my other ones just because I used to like I've always worn cargo shorts and I like having like the pocket in there that's like usable and things like that just because like if you need to carry something and it's too big for your other pocket, that's really neat. Um, and I kind of just like felt uncomfortable in my own skin if I'd wear these new shorts. Like it's what everyone else was wearing, but like in my mind, I had associated that with like, and I don't mean this like a bad way or anything. I just I am a straight guy, and it's kind of like if your shorts are too short, that kind of means like oh he's like gay or something, and like that's not bad. I'm not saying that. It's just like that's not me, and I feel like I was afraid that people would think of me differently for something that I'm not, and then like they would get confused, and like that thing that fear or something. That's what was scaring me from using the shorts because it was like oh they're really cool looking and it's what everyone else uses, but it's like oh that freaks me out. And then part of like the same thing. It's like the answer to that is well, you're you're not gay, so what does it matter? Like if someone's like, "Oh, those shorts look gay on you" or something, it's like, but I'm not, so what does it matter? You know what I mean? Like someone else had mentioned this, like the the way that someone else thinks about you is none of your business. And I do kind of think this is a cool idea. The only thing is like I think it is good to know what people think of you and then to be able to overcome that and say that doesn't matter. Like I don't even think that it's none of your business. Like, I mean, it's not something that you should like get stuck thinking about. That's not what I'm saying. But like, rather than just like ignoring it and be like, oh, people think this about me. Oh, well, that's none of my business. Like, to me, it's like you should be able to know that they think that of you and then just disregard it. Like, if you have the strength to do that, to me, that seems very admirable. And if you can like be confident enough in yourself to where that doesn't bother you, to me, that seems like the answer. And that's what I've been trying to work towards is like, you can do whatever you want. And like, what does it matter what other people think? Like, if you make goofy music or if you do this thing or that thing, or because even like coming out here, it's like, oh, I could just be at home and like record or like some other like, but though to me that like this means something to me. And like whether or not people understand it, like going out into nature and just like recording this audio thing, like I have firsthand experience. I now know that this helps me. So what does it matter whether people think it's weird or like that kind of thing, you know what I mean? Same with like when I was working on my albums. I was more ashamed of that though. And say if it was like I made some like weird goofy music and if people didn't understand, I'd be like bummed. I'd be like, "Oh, like maybe like I shouldn't be doing it like this." But now I'm just like you know what it means to you. What does it matter? So if that can be taken to other people's perspective of you, I'd also like to think that this also works for you towards other things. Like I had mentioned with me thinking about music theory. It's like I have these associations of like, oh, this guy's gonna go to music school and he's gonna be like this perfect musician. Like that's not what it is though. But that's what I think I had worked it up into my mind. I was like, to me, like at least previously, like going to school for music or going to school or something, it's like it seemed like this thing, it's like this concept that people were living out to me that seemed like unrealistic. But I just didn't get it. Like everyone can be doing it for different reasons. So maybe they're just learning how to use more skills and things like that, which is exactly what I'm going to try to do now as well. Because like those are tools, like regardless of how different people see them. Like that's things that humanity has learned over time. Like music notation, everyone's like, "Oh, they need to replace music notation," or English is like bad and like I mean everyone's like, "Oh, English is too hard to learn." Like we need to like fix things or like yeah, we need to replace music notation because it has these bad reasons. It's like ooh, it's like when people try to refactor code without knowing why it was there in the first place. this is a great crossover actually, because I'm guilty of doing this too. And say if you come to a code base and they're like, oh, why would you put this if check here? And then you remove it, and then like one of the tests fail. Or like something happens in production and like there's a new bug. And you're like, oh, how did that happen? It's like, oh, well that thing that you thought was just unnecessary, you removed it. So I'm trying to give more credit to how things work because of how they came about rather than being intentionally planned. Um, so like if something came about naturally and it just happened that way over time, I feel like that should be given a lot of credit because if you try to plan things out without knowing it firsthand or like having bad experiences and good experiences shape the result of things, then you tend to cut a lot of corners, like not intentionally, just because you don't know what the corners are. So like if you try and cut a circle, like if you try to cut a circle out of a piece of paper, you can't be that accurate. But if you let the circle form over like years and years and years, I don't know, like the moon or something, then like it'll become a circle. But you can't just like make a circle. I know this, I know if this makes any sense. Oh man. Um, yeah, I'm gonna pause. Get back on track again. So back to being afraid of music theory. Um, GPT brought up that, like, in regards to structure, discipline, and technique, I. Let me see. Sorry. Oh, it was like, I don't have to become someone else to start getting quote unquote book smart, as I called it. You don't need to trade your trial and error learning for rigid routine. Instead, you can integrate both. And once again, it's like obvious, but like hearing that out loud, it's like, oh, yep. Like you can have both. Like you don't have to be one or the other. And that's another thing that I do too is like I tend to think that I have to choose between things. Um, and then it said, for example, in music, instead of learning songs just to play them right, try learning a song because you want to understand what makes it tick. Take apart a passage like it's a beat you're sampling. Learn just 4 bars and see what they teach you about structure, tone, chord movement, etc. Let the curiosity lead you. And then it also said, in programming, you don't have to grind through a course top to bottom, but maybe you pair a mini project with a small chunk of theory, like implementing a sorting algorithm after you read about it. Not to memorize it, but to internalize how and why it works. And I think I've been doing that not intentionally, but like I've been trying to do that, but I didn't know I was doing that lately because say if I like come up with an idea or like try to learn how to do it, I just thought it was like, oh, I need to keep doing it in order to make it useful. But like just because you tried something and then like moved on from it, that doesn't mean that you didn't learn anything or that it wasn't like useful for your time. Like you still got something out of that. And I think that's another part of my black and white thinking is like just because you try something and don't continue to use it, yeah, doesn't mean it wasn't worthwhile. I think I just said that twice. And then this was a really good part too. Um, and then it said, and when you said, I'm not feeling happy with the things I make when I sit down to write, ChatGPT said, that hit me. That might be your inner voice telling you it's time to feed the creative engine with something new, something you haven't tried yet, something. Sometimes we feel stagnant because we're circling familiar terrain. Learning new techniques, music theory, or programming concepts can open up entire new landscapes to explore. You have already you already have the hard part down, the drive to make new things, the drive to make things. Now you're just tuning the engine. That was a great thing that I said. It's like I have the want to make things and learning how to do that more effectively or not even that. Like that's too bold of a statement. Now that I'm saying that out loud, like it's just more tools. So whether or not I choose to use them in a specific moment doesn't mean it wasn't worthwhile. Like I can still create crazy music, like with improv in my ear and stuff, but now I can once again like tie things in with what someone else might understand or with what might sound familiar to me even. Like I can be more intentional in different ways with it. And that's what's really cool. Like you don't have to let your insecurities about it keep you from like learning it, which is what I was doing. And then it said, so here's a gentle idea. Don't try to force yourself into being disciplined in a way that doesn't fit you. Instead, ask, what's the smallest piece of structure I could try today that might help my creativity tomorrow? And then it said, that's where the transition begins. I'm here to help you build a learning system that feels like you. And then it says, yeah, it's just wondering how to do. So I had started learning like let me see. I had started learning I think the culture clash riff maybe even, and I was like, why do I get insanely frustrated when learning a new guitar part? This seems to be part of the issue too. It's like I won't let myself dive in and just do it. And I think yeah, this has spurred back to like a while ago. Like it just it's not even your own physical limitations. Like I know to some extent like you have to learn how to do it, but it's almost like my mind was like I am not able to do it, so I should stop doing it. And that's what was keeping me away. And then it said, that's such a deep and honest question. And it's a really common experience for people who are used to creating and learning by feel, especially when you are already developed a high level of taste or intuitive skill. Let's try to unpack it gently. And then it mentioned that I might have a strong ear but not musical memory. I'm not used to being, I'm not used to not being good at something. And that makes sense. This one was the biggest thing, biggest bit, like super big. Your brain associates practice with boredom or stagnation. Absolutely. And that was very unfortunate. Like, that's been holding me back for a long time. Same with, like, while doing homework, like, getting bored or, like, just reading the same sentence over and over and then, like, wanting to, like, watch a YouTube video, like, oh, I'm just gonna, like, reset my brain. And, like, then you just get in the YouTube loop and then, like, oh, well, I haven't done anything with my homework. And then you just get frustrated. And it's like this cycle of just getting worse and, like, feeling like you can't keep going because you already screwed up and just, ah, horrible. Disgusting. Like just I hate that. And yeah, so it said if your joy in music comes from exploration, discovery and creating, then repetition can feel like death. Sitting down to repeat the same riff over and over might clash with your natural wiring. So the resistance isn't just about difficulty, it's about how that kind of learning feels in your body, like you're stuck in a loop instead of moving forward. Perfect. Greatly said. And I'm glad it's put it that way because that helps so much. Um, yeah, it said break the song into micro challenges, like if you're learning a new song, jam with the part instead of repeating it. That's a good point. Like, just see what you can come up with in your mind. I haven't tried this yet, but it said like record your progress. So like if you're learning a new song, record your playthroughs while you go. I only did like the one day so far. I was gonna do more today, but I needed to get this out um of my mind. Excuse me. This is great too. It said narrate the frustration. Try literally saying, "Wow, this is hard. I feel frustrated, but I'm showing up." And that's awesome. I love it. That tiny act of mindfulness can take some of the emotional heat out of the moment. You're not failing, you're learning. And learning sometimes feels like tension before the breakthrough. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then it said, one more thought. What if the frustration isn't a sign of failure, but a sign that you're stepping just outside your comfort zone where real growth lives. You've built so much on your own steam. That means you can trust yourself to grow. Maybe this is just the part where you build a new muscle. Patience with the process. Awesome. Once again, once again. You've got this, and I'll help you build whatever structure you need to keep moving forward. Yeah. Um, what else did it say? Sorry, I'm just like reading this, but this was just like fundamentally like mind shifting to me. Like this has been like hanging over my head for like what, 9 years now? And maybe that's not like true, but like the way that my mind has functioned during these kind of scenarios in learning, that's been an issue for like I don't even know how long, like so long. So I'm so grateful to be learning this now. And even if it's just gonna be hard, like still, because that was just the one day, like it was 2 days ago, and it was like great. Not every day is gonna be like that, and I know that. But now I have this knowledge to allow myself to just step back and be like, okay, trust that this could go through. Like it's an opportunity. You have to allow it to run its course. What else? And it said, so maybe the new chapter looks like letting practice mean exploration with intent, not just repetition. That's cool. Letting discipline mean repeating a thing until it feels musical, not robotic. Also great because um I always thought this was another misconception of mine that I'm now seeing as a misconception. I always thought it was like that you would want to learn things to do it a certain way because well, I think I've already brought that up, but like learning scales and like being fast, it's like I thought that was the goal. But like no, that's just a tool. And it's not something to be like afraid of, like, oh, that's the end all be all. It's like, well, I don't want to just do that. It's like it's not just that. That's the thing. And I think I hadn't realized this before. Like people mention some like shredding is like, oh, it's heartless or soulless or something. And it's like, well, it's all just about taste. Like it doesn't have to be a certain thing. You know what I mean? Like everyone does or doesn't like certain music. And just because some people don't doesn't mean you can't either. Um, like I always thought Steve Vai was really good, but I like Satriani better. And for a long time, it was like I wasn't sure about Steve Vai. He seemed like, and I don't mean like he seemed really cool because he's a great guitarist and everything, but like he seemed like full of himself or something. And now I'm starting to see it's like no, he's just really confident in himself or like very proud of himself or like it's a good thing. And maybe it's just it comes off differently. You know what I mean? Like just because he's and maybe that was me reflecting on me. Like if I see someone being very confident in themselves and I'm not, I might be jealous of that. And then like I see that as like, oh, they're bad. It's like, well, you're not you don't have the tools to be there for yourself. So if you're not, then seeing someone else that is, you're not going to feel good about that. So that might have even been part of it too. Because like when I looked at his like playing through different eyes, it was like, wow, this is like awesome. And like music is different in different ways. Like I think I already brought this up, but like Adam Neely was talking about like music can be musicked differently, and maybe sometimes you just are listening to music with the wrong musicking intent. This is I don't remember if he brought that up or if I'm thinking of this right now, but like say if you try to listen to classical music with like the energy or feeling that you do with metal, it's like it just won't work right. So for me, using like empathy to understand why they wrote the music or like where it's coming from or what it's meant to convey, that kind of thing. To me, that makes so much more sense if I don't already understand it for some. reason. Like maybe it's just because I feel that way already. Because maybe that's why you like the music you do, because it's things you're already familiar with, like on a personal level. But if you haven't figured out certain things and you listen to music that is related to that, then maybe that's why you don't like it. Because you as a person haven't grown enough to understand where they're coming from with that perspective that that music is meant to represent. Because yeah, I brought up the question. I think I already talked about like how why do some people like metal, some people don't, and yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It could go back to that thing. Like maybe it's just part of people's personalities that's fleshed out or not. And it seems like as I'm starting to flesh out my personality more and more, at least to what it seems like to me, it feels like a lot more things are making sense, whether it's like different kinds of music or like movies or emotions. And yeah, like if I start to understand a certain emotion more, the music that might be associated with that or meant to represent that, now that's making sense to me. Because originally it might not have. And maybe I didn't like that music because that emotion felt uncomfortable to me. And because you associate weird feelings with that emotion, you're going to want to turn that music off too. And at least for me, that seems to explain a lot of music that I haven't liked with that as being the reason. Or if it was like, if someone else didn't like that music, then I shouldn't either. Like, it's that same kind of thing. Like, it's either fear, ego, or just misunderstanding, not getting the whole picture, a bunch of different things that could cause it. Ooh, hear that? Watch, that's probably a white owl. That's a whole other story. So within, I don't know if it's like within our family, it's just like our close, like at home lately. The last few years, like I think it was just before the pandemic. I think my dad, he was coming home from work or something, and he saw this white owl flying. And then not much longer after that, the pandemic happened. And then it was just like time after time of when we'd see white owls that signified change. And of course, of course, I would just hear one now, right? I didn't see it, but it's definitely an owl. And it's like you're gonna see things naturally, but it really is neat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it actually does mean anything. Oh, I don't even know if it caught that on audio because of the noise cancellation. I hope it did. But yeah, there wasn't, he went like, that kind of thing, like, that kind of noise. I can't tell if that's picking up on audio. I'm gonna make noise right now. I don't even know if you can hear that. But it was like, that kind of noise. Um, yeah. This was a pretty good one. I don't know. I'm gonna pause because I feel like I have more to say, but I need to get back on track again. Oh, actually, I think I just thought of it. Um, yeah, I'm just realizing like how much it is like if you think of your mind as like another organ that you need to take care of. Like just like how you need to drink water, like you need to give your mind a rest. Not even like in a sleeping way or like a play video games way or like, oh, I need to relax or well, I guess it's relax too, but like almost like if you picture like your brain like a muscle. Like you don't want to overwork it. Like if you just keep running like 7 days a week and like you're not trained for that, like you're gonna overextend something or and like same with your brain. Like if you don't give it enough rest and like food, and if you don't get like the equivalent of your muscle having lactic acid, if you don't get that out of your brain, like I don't know, like mental strife, it's just gonna build up in there and like it'll be painful. And that's the only thing I can equate it to is like it really has like helped feel better in that way because sometimes like I'll want to say this stuff out loud to people, but like you don't want to just like vent their ear off. Like sometimes I'll tend to do that and then it just like wrecks the conversation because maybe they're not in that mood or something. And like that's okay because not everyone's always in the same mood. And I think I'm just trying to learn new ways to let go of that like mental tension. Ooh, that's a cool word. Like sentence or album name or something. Mental tension. Um yeah. I'm tired. I guess that's good because I'm feeling better. Um yeah, I'm trying to be like less afraid with small progress because usually it's like, oh, I want to get a lot done and then just call it a day and be done and then move on to something else. But like it's okay if you get some done and then just like change to something else. Like that's another thing I want to work on. I think I mentioned before too is I want to be able to easily change between different things without being like, oh, I didn't get to finish it or like whatever. Like if anything, I should probably just end this podcast if I want to do that because like I could sit here another hour or two and just keep talking. But um I'm gonna pause. I might have well, I probably have more I could say, but yeah, I think I'll probably go home, rest, and just I get to sleep in tomorrow because I work late. Um, I'm gonna what am I gonna do? Let me see. Try music mashups. I did like the other day. Um, dang, I wish I could talk about this ChatGPT thread like even more. There's just so much though. The other thing is I notice like if I get frustrated, I start to get sleepy like when I'm practicing guitar because it sounds like it's like your body's response to like, oh, how did it say? I need to go back. Eh. Oh, I'm also fighting my mind where I feel sleepy while practicing. It's like I am closer to my feelings or something maybe, or my body is trying to find an excuse as to why I shouldn't practice. And it says it's not just physical tiredness, it's often your mind's subtle way of dodging discomfort or vulnerability. You nailed it when you said, I'm closer to my feelings or something. And it said, that's a huge insight. And it said, here's what's likely happening. I'm talking about music practice again, like with guitar, learning like structured practice into some sense. Your mind sees practice as a threat, not in a dramatic way, but more like a quiet resistance. It brings up things like imperfection, slowness, like you're not moving fast or making a thing right away. Like if I'm not making a song, it's like, oh, well, what am I getting out of this? Like if there's something I can audibly or like audibly, I was gonna say audibly see. If there's nothing I can like directly correlate to what came out of that, then my mind's like, oh, this is not like useful. I need to like go do something else because I can't see anything coming out of this. I think that comes from that might be like part of people close to me, like in my family. I feel like a lot of other people do that too, where it's like if they don't see direct results from something that they're doing, then they don't want to do it. And I'm like this too. That's probably where I get it from, maybe, or maybe everyone's like this. I don't know. I'll have to ask around. Um, like yeah, I could be tired because I'm getting exposure to myself and how I handle the struggle, patience, and doubt. So my nervous system tries to pull away from that discomfort, and one of the easiest escape hatches it finds is to just get sleepy, space out, check the phone, clean the desk. It said that's self-protection. Um, it said when here's what you can try to conquer this. You can name it when it happens. So you'll be like, okay, I'm feeling sleepy. This might be my brain resisting something that feels vulnerable. And it gives your awareness the reins instead of the avoidance loop. That's awesome. It said set a 5 minute timer. I mean, I do like that. I get the one thing I don't like about timers though is then it becomes more of like how much can I fit into the time slot? And maybe that's the point. Ooh, maybe I can get used to timers now too. Cause see, like I have these answers for why I don't want to use these things that will help me. So I will look into that one too, because time management was also a big issue for me, where it's like, oh, now I'm more focused on the amount of time available than I am about getting things done. But sometimes I'll take too long on things if I don't have the time on it. So yeah, instead breathe into it, practice with the motion first. Before doing the hard part of a riff or scale, maybe start with 30 seconds of just playing what you feel. Let your fingers make noise, ugly or beautiful. This tells your brain, we're here for expression, not judgment. Once you're in that zone, slipping into actual practice might feel less jarring. Um, it said one more gentle reminder. The resistance doesn't mean you're broken. It means you care. You're brushing up against the edge of your comfort zone, and your system is sending up flares. But you're showing up anyway, and that's the real muscle you're training. You build You're building not just skill, but emotional stamina. That's rare. That's powerful. And then, yeah, that was really cool too. Because it's not even, that's another cool thing. Like, if you look at things a certain way, it's not just learning scales or learning music theory, it's learning how to manage being able to accomplish those things. And to me, this always seemed like it was like, oh, well, like, I have that on my own. Like, I don't need to do that. But, like, I don't know if that's like shallow thinking or something. Like I'm starting to see it's like I do have problems, you know what I mean? Like everyone does. And not being able to acknowledge those, that's part of the issue as well. Like if these things can help you learn how to grow in that way, then why be afraid of them? Like, yeah. Oh, I'm getting exhausted, bro. Oh, sorry it's so loud. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to turn off voice isolation, but the button went away. Okay, let me see if this works. Okay, I don't know if that broke. Um, it kind of got confused. Let me see. Okay, whatever you do, don't change voice isolation while you're recording. It really gets confused. I hope this is still working. Let's see. Sorry, this is just silence. uh, yeah, another one that I realized was when I try to look at chord charts, they're backwards because I'm lefty. So if I try and look at it, I have to like transpose how it looks to not what it looks like on my end because it's backwards. So that's another thing. So it's just like another level of work that just frustrates me. So then I realized I was like, oh, I can just like Google this stuff online. And like this is just how I learn things now. Like I didn't know how to learn in that way before. Like Googling and like Stack Overflow and ChatGPT, like now I know now I have the abilities to use my tools to search things up. Because it's not just like, oh, you can search anything. It's like you just have the answers and but like if that's the case, why not just use that to learn how to play guitar? You know what I mean? Like what's wrong with that? And everyone's like always afraid of Wikipedia too. Like if you need general knowledge on something and like you know it's not perfect, like what's better? Knowing like eh answers on information or knowing none? Like you can even preface it with like I learned this on Wikipedia, like this could be wrong, but this seems like this is kind of what it sounds like. So I almost kind of like to scale the depth to what my beliefs or thoughts are or understanding of things is based on like the amount of confidence I have in it being true, if that makes sense. Like just because you don't know for certain that it's true doesn't mean you can't share it as like something that you know could be true. Like be like, I don't know if this is for certain, but this is the answer to that or something, you know what I mean? Like I find a lot of value in that. Maybe it's just how I learn, but like you don't need to know the exact specific answer for things. Like, oh, I'm tired. Yeah. Um, like general knowledge is cool. Like if you need to learn more, you can always just search it up in depth or like have a better resource. Um, what am I talking about? Oh my God. Uh, I don't know what I'm doing. It sounds like Mongolian throat singing. Excuse me, man. I think that's about it. I need to plan these out a bit more because I can absolutely go on tangents. But once again, like if I learn how to structure this to where I can cover things more effectively, then I think I can use my time better. In the same way that music theory will help me structure songs better to where I can work on them easier because then I'll know how to articulate them or to document them or to plan them out. Because I'm starting to see the benefits of having multiple takes as well. Because I do really like the spontaneity of having a single take be the song, but it doesn't always have to be like that. You know what I mean? Like you can do things over if it's not good or like yeah. Okay. That's probably good. This was another fun one. I talked for a long time. It's dark out here. It was dark out here the whole time, but um I'll wrap it up with what music have I been listening to? Um I just got this album called from Grimbeard. It's called Pure Acid Hell. It's really good. It's kind of like industrial, like Rammstein with like Nine Inch Nails and like chiptune, I think people call it. It's really cool. I think he's from San Diego as well. This other, I don't know if it's like a single guy or like a band. They're called Toe, and it's New Sentimentality. Oh, it sounds great. Like I need to listen to it more because I literally only listened to it like two or three times. But yeah, in trying to use my in trying to use my instinct more, I already knew it's like a great album and like project. Like the quality is there. I just haven't even like learned it. So I'm also trying to like follow my music instincts in that way. It's like, what do I see as high quality music? Like regardless of if I like it or understand it yet, I'm trying to chase music that's high in quality into like authenticity. And this is up to like my own personal interpretation because maybe it's not authentic or something. But I'd like to think that I have a good viewpoint to seeing that, at least for my own taste, you know what I mean? And it seems like those ones really are. Um, I'm gonna go through my notes real quick because um, what else is there? Um, that might be everything, I guess. I'm gonna pause it one more time. I guess I'm learning like you don't have to have the same opinions forever. Like it can change, and like for the longest time, I was like, oh, I don't want to get a new phone because it's like I love my small phone, or like I don't need an upgrade. And like I'm trying to entertain the thought of like I don't need a new phone. Like it works for what I need. But then like you can always try new things too. And it's like I don't know, it just depends. Because like what's my justification for liking small phones? Like it seems like it's easier for me, I guess. And like you get a bigger screen and like there's a bunch of like things on a bullet point list on like why it's better. But like if a bunch of those don't even really apply to me, like why would I need it? And maybe that's just like once again being shallow. It's like, well, maybe you'll like that feature. You could like learn something new from that. So maybe you're just like pushing it away because you're like you believe you don't need it. And that's the same exact thing that I was doing with music theory too. Because I thought like, oh, it's not what I need for what I want to do. So why would I need it in my tool set. But that's I also wasn't thinking of it as something in your tool set. I was thinking of like, here's the rules of music and like here's why you should follow them because people will like it and like so just see if you can okay, here's my closing thing. See if you can analyze what your answers to things are for when you try to speculate why you think the way you do. Because it's not always coming from the best places. And that's what I've been finding out is like a lot of my internal mental structures, I don't I don't know why they're there. They could be there for plenty of reasons or like just whatever. Doesn't even matter. Like I'm starting to see that now. It's like you don't even have to have the reason for everything. But if you can acknowledge they're there, you can decide whether you want to keep them or not. And that's super powerful because you can replace them or improve them or just remove them altogether. Like you can decide how you want to be because you can, if you can take like an internal set of notes on like how you work, you can work around that. Like you can build around that, I mean. Like you can see what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and like cater your growth as a person around those. Like trust yourself. Like I can't remember if they said other people know you best or if you know you best, but for the longest time, it's like sometimes you don't feel like you know yourself the best, and you don't have to be afraid to know yourself the best. Like that's okay. Like it's really cool, and I'm really starting to get to know myself, and I didn't really. I feel like I knew myself more like a few like maybe 8 or 10 years ago, and then it kind of like I don't know if it's like high school or like middle school or friend groups or music or just I don't know like a bunch of things that sway you into like losing yourself a bit. And I think I've really reconnected with me, and maybe that's not even true. Like maybe I was never this close to myself back then, so maybe it's like the first time I've ever been this close to myself. But like over like the last 4 or 5 months. It's really felt like this is the closest I've ever been to myself. Like absolutely. Like I've never this is unfucking believable for lack of better words. Like it's it's outstanding. And everything comes in waves. Like I'll probably get stuck in like other struggles again cuz they always happen. Like they're always there. That's okay. But right now I know that like I'm really doing what I need to do for myself. Like be there for yourself, like taking more risks, trying new things, trusting yourself, trusting other people, and then just like just doing it. Like doing life. You know what I mean? Not being afraid of it. Like there's nothing to be afraid of. And yeah, using cross-pollination for things like using empathy to relate to people or to understand where they're coming from or using empathy to communicate, that's great as well. And just being honest and truthful. And even if it's like led by your own misunderstandings, like if you make that known, then people will bring that up. And then you can learn how to correct yourself if it's wrong. And that kind of reminds me of the thing where it's like early exits in JavaScript. Like if you want to return or throw an error in like the certain case of things, like if you have a parameter that's the wrong type, you don't want to just like keep running the function with the assumption that the parameter is correct. That's the same for like relationships, like I mentioned, I think last week or something. Like you don't want to run your life in the same premise. You want to make like a safe bounding box that you can reside in as a person. Like, I don't know if it's like within your mind or like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like, if you can have a safe place in your mind for you to hang out, it's insane. Yeah. Alright, that was fun. Love ya. I will see you next time. Bye for now. Okay, I'm mid driveway home. I'm mid. What am I saying? I realized, kind of like how Devin said he was infatuated with the idea of like figuring out infinity or life. I think I was like infatuated with the idea of being unique or being not unrelatable, but if I was relatable, that means I failed in being unique. It's like I have this thing of like I need to be individualistic or unfamiliar or something unlike something seen before. Like if I make a song and it sounds like something else, it's like, oh no, it sounds familiar. Like that's not good. I need to make something that no one has ever heard before. And it's like that's specifically what I've been trying to accomplish. And I think I'm realizing like that's like why. Like if music is specifically like, well, it means everything, like maybe it's changing for me. Like music for a lot of people seems like they can relate with it because they have common themes, you know what I mean? Like, and that's not what I wanted at all. It's like I was scared of common themes because then it means I was like not unique enough or something. And now I'm starting to see like that's a whole other side of music. Like you can use it to relate to people, and even just like relating to people in general, that's part of what I've struggled with. Yeah. Okay, I'm exhausted.